Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. I know we still have some folks coming in, so just come in, take a seat. We're excited to have you here. Just wanted to say hello from wherever you're joining us. I am based out in Atlanta. It's early for me here at 7 a.m., but so excited to be here with everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Helen Rincon. I am a partner marketing manager here with Atlassian, and I also have my guest speaker here, Darlene August, who's going to be walking us through all of the amazing things that are in store for Atlassian Community Events this year. So if this is your first time joining a Tech Partner Marketing Hour webinar, welcome. We're so excited to have you. We kicked off the series last quarter with the intention of equipping partners with tools and strategies to effectively promote their apps and integrations. So we've got a great session prepared for you today. A few housekeeping things to note before we get started. You'll notice that we have a Q&A down in the chat area. Make sure to enter all of your questions during the presentation there, and we'll address them all at the end during the Q&A session. Also, just to let you know, the session is being recorded as well, and we will post the recording along with a summary of today's presentation in the partner portal following this webinar. Okay, so today we're diving into the world of Atlassian Community Events, which is also known as ACE. We have our guest speaker, Darlene. Darlene, wave, say hi. Hey. So she's the community program manager, and she will be sharing new program updates and what they're getting ready to launch and how partners can get involved this year with ACE. So before I hand it off to Darlene, I just want to take a few minutes to share a quick marketing update. So we recently launched an updated version of the partner co-marketing menu. Some of you guys might be familiar with this. You've probably seen it in the partner portal, but this is really a great resource we encourage all partners to take a look at within the partner portal. This new updated menu lists out various different resources, programs, self-serve guides that you can utilize in order to market your app. We'll share the link to this updated page as well in that follow-up blog, so you guys can kind of take a closer look. One of the biggest additions here is App Central, which is essentially a new section within the Atlassian community where partners can post articles that showcase their team and apps bypassing and it pretty much helps like bypass the old process going through the marketplace marketing team to get like an article posted. Now partners can do it self-serve, where they can post the articles themselves within the community. So it just makes it for an easier experience for partners. And there are a few other updated menu items, for example, how to become an ACE leader. And that's actually a perfect segue to move into the core of our presentation today around Atlassian Community Events. So before we really jump into the meat of the conversation today, I wanted to do a quick temperature check with a poll. I'm going to go ahead and launch the poll so you'll see it in your Zoom screen. So this first poll is, have you ever attended an Atlassian community event? So we'll give just a few moments for people to answer. All right, so sharing out the results right now. So it looks like over half of you guys have attended. 30% says that you've never had, and then small percentage has only attended once. So this is actually a little bit of a trick question because we're actually on ACE right now. So ACE's verse is both an in-person and virtual community. All of the webinars that we do for the Tech Partner Marketing Hour are done through ACE. So you're actually technically in an ACE event right now. But great, love to hear that you guys have participated in some, and hopefully after today's presentation, you'll have even a bigger desire to go and attend some of the in-person events. I'm going to stop sharing. And then we are going to move on to the next poll. So now that we know that, a lot of you guys have participated in ACE events, we're curious to know if you guys have sponsored an ACE event before. So I'll go ahead and launch that one in the chat as well. I'm just giving a few seconds for people to answer. Okay. And closing out the poll. Okay, so it looks like it's split kind of evenly down the middle. So it sounds like, half of the audience right now has, and the other half is tuning in hopefully to figure out how they can get involved in some more ACE sponsored events. So that is awesome. Love that. Cool. So yeah, we will go ahead and move on then to the next part of the presentation with Darlene. Darlene, hopefully that was insightful, hearing from the audience, kind of like where everyone's at as far as their knowledge about ACE and sponsored events.
Yes, thank you so much. And thank you, everyone. Very happy to be here. My name is Darlene, as Helen said, and I lead ambassador programs at Atlassian on the community team. And today I'm here to talk to you about Atlassian community sponsorship. I saw that someone already asked how you can sponsor an event, so hopefully you'll learn the answer to that question as I continue my presentation. So you might be asking yourself, what's an Atlassian community event? I'll tell you. It all started in 2006 when a group of about 80 Atlassian users got together in person in Virginia to talk about our products and practices, and they began to meet regularly. This was the first grassroots efforts to activate our user community, and since then, we've built a program around supporting these user groups. Some of you that have been around for some time may even be familiar with the name Atlassian user groups, or AUGs, as they were so lovingly called. And we've since transitioned AUGs, Atlassian user groups, into what we now call Atlassian Community Events. So an Atlassian community event are gatherings hosted for the community by the community. So at them, users come together to share their experiences with our tools and practices. And when we say community, we mean anyone in the Atlassian ecosystem. That can be customers, partners, developers, folks like yourselves, Atlassian enthusiasts, admins, end users, and even prospective users. These events are led by a self-organizing group of champions. I see some of you on the call. Hi, Stefan. Hi, Matthias. Hi, Kate. These are external users who and/or solution partners and vendors who plan, promote, and host these events virtually and/or in person. Some of the events may have a hybrid feel. They might have some in-person elements as well as virtual elements. And we have around 400 people in our community leader program today. Yes, so they're for users, by users, and Atlassian community events can come in a variety of formats and include a variety of topics. Some of them are around Atlassian tools and practices. Some of them might focus on building professional skills. They might include presentations. They might include roundtable discussions, Q&A panels. They could even be a lunch and learn. We call them brown bags also at Atlassian, you name it. We also see a lot of them including a networking session or moments where chapters come together even to give back. So for example, we've seen some chapters get together to plant trees and/or to help clean up trash around their cities. So there's a bit of a foundational element, which we love to see and love to support. The most important aspect of them being successful is the utilization of member feedback. So leaders are constantly getting feedback from members on what they want to hear about and organizing the agendas around that feedback. So what do they need to learn more about? What are they interested in to help ensure that the content is relevant? They also leave ample time for attendees to network and connect, because that's also one of the big draws of attending a community event, along with hearing how other users are utilizing our tools. So as Atlassian, we can share what our tools do, we can say how they can be used for, but our members really crave hearing how other users are using our tools, how other organizations are solving for pain points they might be going through themselves, how industry professionals might be dealing and utilizing Atlassian tools. So they really want to hear from each other, and events that can incorporate all of those elements are well received by attendees. This year, my team has a goal of supporting 85 community-led conferences. These are, think of these as larger scale Atlassian community events where we're targeting at least 150 attendees at each. 60 of them will have a market focus either on ITSM, Agile and DevOps, and work management. 15 of them will be organized around Team 24, and then there's 10 Leaders' Choice. As with most things, we are supporting community-led conferences because our community started doing it first. Over the past few years, we've seen more summits and fests and community conferences popping up organically with leaders, and we want to lead in to provide increased support to these volunteers, helping them source local sponsors, product experts, and really helping them be successful with this newer event format. They do require more logistical support from my team. And the vision for them is that they eventually become something that leaders can adequately self-serve. So from thinking through what the ideas could be, to securing additional budget, to being plugged into local Atlassian teams and external speakers, we want to help solve for all of these areas that we know that will require, we want to minimize the overhead that it would require from leaders and lean in a lot more to help enable them to run these more efficiently. I'll also say that, for example, we've always known that everyone joining us in person at something like Team in Vegas at the past couple of years is not always possible. But with these community-led conferences, we hope that we can bring the magic of a team to more cities throughout the world. And that's also the purpose of us wanting to lean into community-led conferences. What you're seeing on the screen now are the cities that we're targeting for community-led conferences in 2023. Like I said, we'd love to be able to pull in local sponsors and product experts to help support them. And I'll share more shortly on how you can do that. But before I do, I want to go into why you should get involved in supporting Atlassian community events. Sponsoring Atlassian community events is a great way to showcase your expertise with Atlassian tools and practices. They'll help you drive success and help you get face time with customers, hearing what their pain points are from their mouths, and helping to solidify your reputation as a reliable resource on Atlassian tools. And through Atlassian community events, you can keep a pulse on what the user base needs and what they're focused on, and help establish yourself as a thought leader too. There are several ways that you can sponsor a community event. One is to speak at them. A big draw for attending Atlassian community events is to hear how other folks are solving for problems, yes, from other users, but members also love hearing about product demos as well as app integration overviews. Sponsors can partner with community leaders to get a pulse on what local members would like to learn more about. You can work with them on what the specific topics might be or what the specific pain points people really want to hear about. And those tend to be a big hit. What shouldn't be part of a presentation is having it be a sales pitch. We feel that you can still represent your expertise through product content and demos and practices with your presentation without it feeling like a sales pitch. So finding that balance between informing but not crossing over to the sales pitch side. You can also provide a venue. For example, if you have an office space that leaders can use to host their events, or if you have any additional funding that you could give towards covering a venue rental, they'd certainly welcome it. Community events typically require venues that can support audio and visual needs. It will depend on what the event is, what the purpose of the event is, but often we'll see at least some AV and mics and chairs for folks to sit down. But if it's a more social, purely networking event, that you might not need as much AV support there. You'd also be welcome to provide additional swag. So our members like to say that Atlassian is a tech company with a swag problem. Everybody loves to get free things, and you're welcome to offer additional swag at Atlassian community events. And then lastly, you could consider contributing towards food and beverage costs. Typically, community events are taking place after work. They might also be across a lunch hour. So leaders usually provide food and beverage for their members to have while they're at the events. And you'd be welcome to offer to cover partial or all of the food and beverage costs. In addition to that, we can offer you through Atlassian Community Events, we can offer you connection to local users. We can put your logo on Atlassian Community Event page chapters on our ace.atlassian.com website. You'll obviously be able to attend the events, and then you can distribute swag and brochures there. And of course, be thanked by our community leaders who are always grateful for any support that they can get from local sponsors. You can also consider becoming a community leader. Like I said, I see a few familiar faces on the or names on the call of folks who are already in our community leader program. Partners and vendors are eligible to host community events. And some of the things that we look for in successful leaders is to have that community first approach. So our community leaders are connectors, they're mentors, they're ambassadors. These should be the driving forces for hosting community events, not business development, not sales, not recruitment, or anything else that doesn't prioritize the community member experience. We also look for folks who have hands-on expertise. We often hear feedback from members that demoing products and integrations is a big draw, and this particular skill set can be really helpful in engaging local members. We also look for leaders who can help fill in any gaps. So, for example, in cities where there might already be a leader, we might be looking for specific things for an additional leader to help solve for. This could be having product expertise, being able to do product demos, or helping with event promotion, helping with sourcing speakers. Yeah, filling in the gaps is always a focus of ours. And then lastly, folks that are inclusive. So our community is a welcoming environment, and leaders should be folks who can work well with other leaders, other members, and other partners. What we can offer you. So Atlassian community events are not a sales motion, so we wouldn't be able to offer you any leads. That's not to say that leads might not come up organically in the conversations that you might be having with attendees. That's fine, but yeah, that community events are not, the primary focus of community events are not for them to be sales motions. Users are there to hear from experts and from each other on how Atlassian tools and integrations can help solve for their pain points, and that should be the focus. We also won't, like I mentioned before, they're not there to hear sales pitches, and we wouldn't be able to share any attendee contact details. So things like asking for an email list, we wouldn't be able to grant that. And we prohibit anyone from emailing attendees directly in an attempt to promote products or product surveys, discounts, apps, unless they've expressly asked you for more information. That's fine, but that's not something that we offer at scale. So how you can get involved. If you're interested in becoming a leader, there's the link there to our application. That will come to my team. We'll go through your application together and give you a lot more in-depth information about how the program works. And that is an ongoing commitment. We want our events chapters, for example, to be active, hosting at least one event per quarter. If that's not something you can commit to and would prefer to sponsor community events here and there, you have a second option of sponsoring an event, and you can email my team at communitymanagers@atlassian.com. You'd be welcome to support multiple chapters. Yeah, there's no limit to assisting community leaders. They love having any help. So yeah, if you're interested in either option, we'd love to hear from you. And that concludes my part of the presentation, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Darlene. I'm actually going to go back to this slide just so people have this information still. But this was great. This was such a great overview as to where Atlassian Community Events, like where it started, how much it's evolved over the years, and just all the exciting things that are coming up with sponsored events. So thank you so much for walking us through that. And yeah, we'll open it up for Q&A. Thank you to everyone who's been dropping in their questions. There's some really good ones. So we'll go ahead and get started. This was before you got into the meat of the presentation, but someone asked how they can sponsor an ACE event. I feel like you covered it, but just to summarize in a few steps, what's the best way to get in contact with you guys to sponsor?
Perfect. So yeah, if you're interested in sponsoring, you can shoot us an email at communitymanagers@atlassian.com. If you go on the ace.atlassian.com website and you click into a city chapter, there's also an option there for you to contact hosts. So you can also just reach out directly to the community leaders in the cities that you're interested in, and they'll continue the conversation there. But either option works. We're happy to introduce you to leaders too.
Awesome. The next question, this is a really good one. It says, I don't think there's an established community near my location. How would I go about forming one? Does Atlassian support in that?
Great question. So absolutely, if there isn't one in your region and you're interested in, the best way is to consider becoming a community leader and joining our program. And we would support that. So the primary ways that we support Atlassian Community Events, there's a reimbursement allotment that helps to cover any fees related to food and beverage or any venue costs. We help with providing content, and we also help with connecting you to any internal Atlassians that might be in the local area that might be able to come attend or present at your events. So yeah, there's a whole ecosystem around supporting community leaders who are hosting events. So yeah, if you want to help us launch a new chapter, we'd certainly love that.
Awesome. Yeah, it sounds like a really good opportunity to be the first to get a community sprung up in your area. So definitely take advantage of that opportunity. Okay, another question we have is, do Atlassians ever attend or speak at community events?
Yes, all the time. So with Team Anywhere, Atlassians are spread out all over the globe. So we actually have a challenge to our entire organization for everyone to join at least one community event this year. So you'll hopefully see more and more Atlassians popping up to them, especially with a lot of the events also still being virtual. That makes it a lot easier for folks to pop into. So we see quite a lot of, or we've seen increasingly more involvement from Atlassians over the years in plugging into community events.
Awesome. Yes, cool. There's another question in the chat. They were asking if there will be a link that we can share to see all of the planned community events. We shared the slide, and it's definitely something that we can include in the follow-up blog. What do you think, Darlene?
Absolutely. And I can share, so if it's in, I definitely can include in the follow-up blog. Someone already posted the ace.atlassian.com email, but I can include a lot more context, not just for ACE events, but also for the conference cities that we're targeting too.
Awesome. Okay, another question we're moving to, is there any criteria to be able to sponsor a community-led conference, and when will registration be open for community?
So for Atlassian's hosting, so for the first 40 conferences that we're planning right now are going to dovetail into market events that Atlassian's hosting. So Atlassian's hosting a high velocity event in Sydney in the beginning of November. And right now my team is supporting 20 community-led conferences that dovetail into that. If you give me 1 second, I can post the link in the chat.
Awesome.
So you can already see here's our high velocity.
Cool. And while getting that pulled up, there is another question that I can take. It was about the partner co-marketing menu and what I mentioned about App Central. The question is, there is App Central and there is apps and integrations in the community. Which one is the right one? So App Central is actually kind of taking over the apps and integrations section within the community. So it's kind of like the new and improved space for partners to post in the Atlassian community.
Awesome, thank you. So I've just posted 2 links in the chat. The first one is for the high velocity event that we're putting on in Sydney. And then the second link is to the community-led conferences that are dovetailing into high velocity. And if you click the explore locations box, you'll be able to see the cities that we're planning conferences with. Once you click into the city, you'll go to our community event site. You'll see that not all of the details are fleshed out. We've been working with leaders for a while now on helping to source speakers. We're trying to get Atlassian participation at all of these. So Still some moving parts, but we're really excited to continue to put these events together. They're all going to take place after High Velocity in Sydney on the 1st of November. So you'll see these events happening all throughout November and even into December.
Awesome. That is really exciting. So I just added in the links for everyone to be able to see them. So let us know if you can access those now. But yeah, we're really excited about the market events. Really great opportunity to kind of come in, mingle with Atlassians and customers. And so the community-led conferences, I think, are a really great opportunity for partners to really like harness the ability to like get in front of customers and kind of like hear a little bit more like what they have going on. Whenever you're able to just like speak one-on-one with customers, I think it's always such a great opportunity.
Agreed.
Also, let's see. I am also gonna grab a link. I know everyone's curious about the partner portal, so I will quickly try to grab that link for you guys. If you will just give me 1 second. Also, I want to note that the partner portal is exclusively for marketplace partners who have submitted their app into the marketplace and have signed the agreement to become a marketplace partner. So if you are having any issues accessing partner portal, but you have signed the marketplace partner agreement, I will drop my email in the chat. Just send me an email and we can get that piece figured out for you guys. I just added in the partner portal link in the chat and my email address. Okay. Cool. Awesome. So let's see if we have any more questions coming in from the chat. Will you be able to share the recording later? Yes, we will. You will receive an email after this webinar, kind of like as a follow-up, and it'll include the link to the recording and also the follow-up blog with all of the information and content that you guys saw in today's presentation. All right.
Awesome.
Well, Darlene, do you have any closing remarks?
I just want to say thanks. Yeah, I feel like partners and vendors are already such big supporters of community. Yeah, so continue to do that, please. Our leaders appreciate it, our members appreciate it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to working even more closely with this group of folks and hopefully seeing more of you at our Atlassian community events. And yeah, really, really great to be able to talk to you all today.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. I hope that today's presentation was insightful for you guys, and hopefully we'll see a lot more of you guys at some upcoming ACE events. So you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will catch you in the next webinar. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.